Hi guys, welcome to Sample Tools by CL2, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Festival Track Pack. So I'm going to play the track first and then I'm going to run you through how I made some of the parts. There you have it. So what I want to start with is these underwater synths that I've got at the beginning. You've got to build a bit of atmosphere before breakdowns or drops, or in breakdowns and drops. So a great way to do this is to use a few synths together and then give them that sort of tucked in feeling. Now what I've done is I started with, I'm just going to take these effects off. I've started with a pluck, which is just playing the main melody. So and then I've got a counter melody on top of that, giving it a slightly different feeling and a little bit more movement. So you can hear that that's played at a triplet rhythm, 1 2 3 1 2 3 1 2 3. So I wanted something that was a bit more in keeping with the 4/4 rhythm and that had a different tone as well. What's great about this is that it's got some delay that's coming off of the notes and it's filling in the gaps where it's not playing, so it still feels like it's playing all the time. And finally, just to have something a little more constant, I took this lead and turned it into a pad, and this is just one held note. The held note's great because it covers some of the low end, so it fills in the frequency space which is missing right now. There's not very much low frequency energy. There's only the sort of mid from the pluck and high from the Skyline pad. So I'm covering everything here with 3 parts, but they're doing 3 completely different things. So altogether they sound like this. So immediately you can feel that movement, that tension. It still makes you want to dance, but it's not giving away what's going to happen in the drop. So let's have a look at the effects that I applied. I started with a little Pro Q2, and all I did here was cut the low frequencies out to under 117. Now I do like the low frequencies that pad's giving me in some of the synths, but I don't want too many because otherwise this isn't going to have as much impact. Next I put the Valhalla Vintage Verb. I've got a really long reverb on here, quite a lot of mix as well, and this is giving it this sort of ambient feeling. It's pushing it back in the mix. Be careful when you're adding reverbs to add a low cut on the reverb. Now you might not have that option, you might need to EQ afterwards or use the reverb as a send and then EQ the send. I'm cutting out some of the high frequencies, but I like a bit of that fizziness. We're going to cut it out later anyway with a proper filter. It's important that you get these settings right on the reverb. Too much reverb is going to make it sound too wishy-washy. Too little reverb isn't going to give you that underwater feeling. Now, it's one of 2 things that make it sound underwater. You've got the reverb, and then more importantly, this Simplon here, which is actually automated. Now the Simplon is just a low pass filter, so it's cutting out the high frequencies and gradually increasing as we get to the drop. So it's only exposing all the high frequencies right at the very end. So it's drawing the listener to the end of that 8-bar phrase. So they're getting more and more excited for what's to come. Now, this was something that I thought sounded kind of cool, and it just added a bit of movement to this wishy-washy part going on. But I've got a compressor on it, which is side-chained to the kick. So let me just play you the kick for a second. We can see it triggering this compressor here. Oh, it stopped doing it for some reason. Let me try closing it and reopening it. See if it does it again. Okay, well, it doesn't seem to be doing it, but it is side-chaining these underwater synths. There we go, we can see it kicking in there. For some reason it didn't like when I played them all together. There you go, it started doing it again. I'm not sure why, but there you go. And every time the kick plays, this is triggered to reduce in volume, and it's giving the underwater synths a kind of pump. So with a kick. So it's coming in and out and in and out. It's not super obvious, but it's enough to add more and more dynamic. Alright guys, I hope you found that useful. I'll see you in the next video.
Remember, at Sample Tools by CR2, we also offer a mix and mastering service. Just head over to www.sampletoolsbycr2.com, click on the Mastering tab, and you'll find our range of services there.